Friends, sharing with you a very high session for the forthcoming NEET PG exam. I present to you all formulae and latest values at one place from the subject of PSM. Hello friends, my name is Dr. Vivek Jain and I am a faculty of preventive and social medicine, that is community medicine. Now friends, how I have designed this particular high yield session for your examination, I have tried to keep all the important formulae as well as latest values from the subject of PSM. I know right now you are going through the phases of revision. So this will help you revise the complete subject in a very short time, and it will also help you increase your accuracy so that in the final exam not only you are able to remember the correct answer, but you are able to attempt each question within the stipulated time. So friends, let's go for it. We start with the first important parameter, Human Development Index HDI, one of the parameters which is used to measure standard of living. This HDI calculation is based on three parameters. These are health, then we have education, and finally we have living standard or standard of living. Health is measured by life expectancy at birth, that is LE0. Education, it is measured by mean years of schooling and expected years of schooling, and living standard or standard of living is measured by income, that is measured in GNI, gross national income per capita. For calculation of human development index, we have to calculate for these three parameters one index each. So when we look at these, for each of these three parameters we calculate separate index where we use country's actual value minus the minimum available value or goalpost in the world divided by maximum value minus minimum value of that particular parameter goalpost in the world. When you calculate all the three indices, then we take a geometric mean. So finally, human development index is calculated by the formula. It is cube root of a product of three indices. These are life expectancy index, second index used is education index, and third index used is income index. Please remember, education index is based on mean years of schooling and expected years of schooling. When you look at the latest value of human development index for the country India, then that has been found to be 0.645, and India has a rank of 131 in human development across the planet. Friends, please remember, human development index lies between 0 to +1, and 0.645 makes India a medium development country. Let's move to the next parameter now. That is MDPI, multi-dimensional poverty index. Even MDPI is based on same three components like HDI. These are health, education, and living standards or standard of living. These three indicators have got 10 sub indicators. What are these? First is health. Health includes two sub indicators. These are child mortality, nutrition. Similarly, education has got two further sub indicators. These are years of schooling and attendance in the school. And when we look at standard of living, that is based on total 6 sub indicators. What are these? These include fuel, that is cooking oil, electricity, assets, toilet or the sanitation, along with that housing and water. Just like HDI, MDPI, what is the range? It lies between 0 to +1. And when we look at multi-dimensional poverty index for our country India, then MDPI of India is currently 0.123. India is having a current global rank of 62, and when we translate it in terms of what percentage of Indian population is poor, that is by this particular index 27.9% of Indian population is poor. Along with multi-dimensional poverty, you must know below poverty line or BPL criteria used in our country. Poverty line in our India could be defined on the basis of 4 different definitions. When we look at the first one, most important one, that is based on calorie intake per day. Rural area cutoff used today is less than 2400 kilocalories per day. In urban areas, it is less than 2100 kilocalories per day. When we look at the cutoff given by Tendulkar Committee in 2011, it was less than 27 rupees per day income in a rural area, less than 33 rupees per day in an urban area. Similarly, Rangarajan Committee in 2014 set these poverty cutoff as a person having an income less than 32 rupees per day in rural area and less than 47 rupees in urban area. By these committee cutoffs, if you see, Tendulkar Committee found 22% of Indian population living below poverty line, whereas Rangarajan Committee found 29.5% population below poverty line. And finally, when we look at income definition as given by World Bank along with WHO and UN, then you will find any person having an income irrespective of rural urban less than $1.9 per day is a poor person in our country. When we look at the most important epidemiological study in analytical studies, that is cohort study, it has got 3 indicators for strength of association. So you must know their formulae. These 3 indicators are relative risk, attributable risk and population attributable risk. Relative risk formula is incidence of a disease among exposed group divided by incidence of the same disease among non-exposed group. It tells you the strength of association between risk factor and disease, cause and effect, or you can say exposure and outcome. If this relative risk is more than 1, association is present. If it is equal to 1, no association. Less than 1, inverse association, negative association, or you can say risk factor may be protective for the disease under study. Relative risk is the most commonly used, most accurate measure of strength of association. But besides relative risk, we also use attributable risk, AR. What is the formula of attributable risk? It is incidence in exposed minus incidence of the same disease in non-exposed group divided by incidence in exposed and multiplier is 100. Attributable risk tells you how much of the disease could be attributed to the risk factor. Friends, please remember, attributable risk is also known as excess risk, risk difference, or absolute risk also sometimes. Population attributable risk formula is incidence of the disease in total population minus incidence of the same disease in non-exposed divided by incidence in total and multiplier is 100. It is also expressed as percentage just like attributable risk. And what is the interpretation of population attributable risk? If the risk factor under study is modified or eliminated, how much annual reduction in incidence of the disease is expected by this intervention? And just a small point, relative risk is also known as risk ratio. It is a type of ratio. Now, this was the cohort study. Strength of association in a case control study is given by, very right, that is odds ratio. How do we calculate? What is the formula? For that, you need to first construct the 2 by 2 table correctly, where disease is on top and risk factor is on left side, the history of risk factor. In this 2 by 2 table, this is A, B, C and D. And how do we calculate odds ratio? Odds ratio is calculated as a cross multiplication, that is A into D divided by B into C, AD by BC. This is the reason odds ratio is also known as cross product ratio. Odds ratio may come more than 1, equal to 1, less than 1. Interpret it just like relative risk. If odds ratio comes 21, as we discussed in our main video example of lung cancer and history of smoking, then odds ratio 21 implies lung cancer cases have 21 times more odds or chances of giving a history of smoking in the past as compared to controls or healthy people. Now, how do we measure disease? When we look at morbidity, the two main measures are incidence and prevalence. How do we calculate incidence? Incidence is given by the formula total number of new cases of a disease in a defined population in a defined unit of time, generally that is 1 year, divided by, please remember, denominator is not total population, rather it is total population at risk, and the multiplier is 1000. Because numerator is a part of denominator and multiplier is not 100, please remember incidence is a type of rate. In contrast, when we look at prevalence, prevalence is not just new cases, but it is total cases. So we can say it is total number of both new as well as old cases out of denominator is total population. And you have to remember the formula. Multiplier in prevalence is 100. Numerator is a part of denominator and multiplier is 100. So prevalence is a type of proportion. It may be period prevalence when we look at total new and old cases for a period of time. It may be point prevalence when we see new plus old cases existing on a particular time. Is there any relationship, mathematical relationship between incidence and prevalence? Yes, there is a relationship. In fact, prevalence is incidence multiplied by average duration of the disease. Please remember, duration of a disease can only decrease in two different ways. Number one, either it is curable very fast, or number two, person or the case dies due to the disease. Now, when new cases are formed in a particular population, you must know how are these affected in terms of rates. So first is attack rate. Attack rate is defined as, it is number of new cases of a particular disease in a specified time interval, and the denominator for calculation of attack rate is total population at risk during the same specified time interval. So you can see numerator denominator is very similar to incidence, but here the multiplier is 100. And attack rate tells you about extent of an epidemic. In contrast, when you look at SAR, that is secondary attack rate, how do we calculate? What is the formula we use? Numerator is number of secondary cases. Secondary cases means who develop after and from the primary case, and these are who are developing within one incubation period. And denominator is total number of susceptibles who are in close contact. Please remember, primary case is excluded both from numerator as well as denominator. Multiplier is 100. Since numerator is a part of denominator and multiplier is 100, it is always expressed as a percentage and it is a proportion. Secondary attack rate tells you about communicability of a disease or an organism. Secondary attack rate is generally high for diseases like measles, mumps, chickenpox. All of them have secondary attack rate greater than 80%. Along with secondary attack rate, let us look at some other rates and indicators which are asked in your examination frequently. First, we look at SDR, specific death rate. How do we calculate this? Numerator is number of deaths which are occurring from a particular specific cause in a given year. Denominator is mid-year population and multiplier is 1000. This SDR, what is its utility in public health? It helps you identify specifically at risk groups for a particular disease. Now compare and contrast this specific death rate with PMR, proportional mortality rate. How do we calculate this? Numerator is total number of deaths due to a particular disease or cause. And what is the denominator? Denominator is total deaths from all the causes. Proportional mortality rate is not a rate. Why? Multiplier we prefer is 100. Now numerator is a part of denominator. Multiplier is 100. So proportional mortality rate is actually a proportion. One important thing about PMR you must know, it is known as simplest measure of disease burden. Now when you look at global deaths currently, proportional mortality rate is highest for which particular disease? That is IHD, ischemic heart disease, which contributes more than 16% of deaths globally. It is followed by stroke, COPD, LRI, followed by other causes. Proportional mortality rate was proportion contributed by a particular cause among all the causes of death. But when you look at case fatality rate, we are talking for a single disease only. Fatality means death. So numerator is total number of deaths due to a particular cause or a disease, and denominator is total number of cases of that particular cause or disease, and multiplier is 100. Numerator is a part of denominator, multiplier is 100. Case fatality rate is not a rate, it's again a misnomer. It is expressed in percentage, it is a proportion. Case fatality rate for a disease like chickenpox is just 1%. For a disease like measles is around 3%. But when you look at disease like Japanese encephalitis, it goes up to 35%, and most fatal disease, rabies, it approaches close to 100%. So case fatality rate is actually a measure of virulence of the organism as well as killing power of the disease. Only disadvantage of this particular parameter is time interval is not specified. Even for a disease like COVID-19 in India, case fatality rate is 1.34% only. Complementary to mortality is survival. So let us look at survival index. How do we calculate? Numerator is total number of patients who are alive generally after a period of 5 years. And what is the denominator? It is total number of patients originally who were diagnosed or treated, and multiplier is 100. Numerator is a part of denominator. It is also a proportion always expressed in percentage. Two major advantages of survival rate. It not just only tells you prognosis, but it also helps you assess the yardstick for treatment or standards of therapy. This survival rate is mainly used for studies of cancer. Please remember, when we look at case fatality rate, I initially mentioned mortality is complementary to survival. So case fatality rate is 1 minus survival rate. Friends, in the topic of immunization and cold chain, one of the topics where many times undergraduate as well as FMG PG aspirants are confused is WMF, that is wastage multiplication factors of vaccines. So which vaccines have what wastage multiplication factor, that you must know. So let's look at that, and we divide them into three different groups. First vaccine given to a child is BCG. This vaccine, the permissible wastage is highest, that is up to 50%. So its wastage multiplication factor is 2. When we look at second group of vaccines, these include rotavirus, measles, Japanese encephalitis vaccine. The permissible wastage for these vaccines is up to 25%. So wastage multiplication factor used is 1.33. And when we look at other vaccines like IPV, OPV, pentavalent, hepatitis B, TT, TPT, these 6 vaccines on which open vial policy is applicable, along with that newly launched COVID-19 vaccines, along with that vitamin A, which is not a vaccine but given in immunization schedule. And when we look at syringes, including auto disable syringes, then the permissible wastage is only 10% for this group. So wastage multiplication factor is 1.11. After this topic, let us move to screening of disease, where important formulae are asked in your exam and you may be asked to calculate also. First we look at properties of screening test: sensitivity, specificity, PPV, positive predictive value, NPV, negative predictive value. Before we remember their formulae, you must know how to construct a 2x2 table for a screening test for a particular disease. It is just like odds ratio table and looks like this. Disease on top, present, absent. Screening test results on left side of the table, positive, negative, A, B, C, D in the same sequence. A is true positive, D is true negative, correct results. Wrong results are B and C. B is false positive and C is false negative. So once you memorize this table, as I have discussed in the app video on screening test, now you have to memorize this formula so that you can solve the question. So let us first look at usefulness of a screening test is given by sensitivity, most important property. It is calculated by the formula A upon A plus C into 100, or I can say true positive divided by true positive plus false negative into 100. Specificity, which rules out a disease, this is given by the formula D upon B plus D into 100, that is true negative upon true negative plus false positive into 100. Diagnostic power of a screening test, PPV, positive predictive value is given by the formula A upon A plus B into 100. That is true positive divided by true positive plus false positive into 100. NPV, negative predictive value, is diagnostic power of a test to correctly exclude a disease. It is given by the formula D upon C plus D into 100. That is true negative divided by true negative plus false negative into 100. What is Bayes theorem? Bayes theorem is a mathematical relationship between PPV on one side and sensitivity, specificity of the test and prevalence of the disease in the population on the other side. What is this mathematical relationship? When we first look at PPV, it is given by the formula. Numerator is sensitivity into prevalence of the disease. Denominator is same, sensitivity into prevalence plus 1 minus specificity multiplied by 1 minus prevalence, and this whole numerator denominator, the multiplier is 100 expressed as a percentage. Please go through the examples and the shortcut method I have covered in my video on screening, how to solve if a numerical comes from this topic. Please remember, positive predictive value is directly proportional to prevalence of the disease in the population. Prevalence is also known as pre-test probability. PPV is also known as post-test probability. Similarly, when we look at NPV, negative predictive value, how it is related to these three parameters? Its formula is specificity multiplied by 1 minus prevalence. Denominator is again same, specificity into 1 minus prevalence plus 1 minus sensitivity into prevalence, and multiplier is 100. Friends, please remember, negative predictive value is inversely related to prevalence of the disease in the population. Friends, when we look at communicable disease and their health programs, for yellow fever and dengue control, we use three important indices in India also. These are container index, house index and Breteuil index. What are their formulae? Container index is given by the formula C plus divided by C into 100. C plus is containers which show breeding of Aedes aegypti larvae, and C denominator is total containers surveyed. So numerator is a part of denominator, multiplier is 100. Container index is expressed as percentage. Very similar to house index also. House index is given by the formula H plus, houses which show breeding of Aedes aegypti larvae within their premises, divided by H, total houses surveyed, multiplier is 100. And when we combine these two from these two, we can derive Breteuil index, which is given by the formula C plus, total containers showing the breeding of Aedes aegypti larvae divided by total houses surveyed, multiplier is 100. Friends, please remember, house index is also known as Aedes aegypti index. When we look at threshold values for prevention and control of dengue and yellow fever, it has been recommended that house index should be kept below 1%, whereas Brettu index should be maintained below 5% in all areas in and around airports. When we say airports, we are referring to yellow fever disease. When we look at malarimetric indices, that is indices used for malaria, there are multiple, but quite useful among them are API, ABER and SPR. What are these? API is annual parasitic incidence. I is incidence. It is calculated by the formula, numerator is confirmed cases of malaria in a particular area in a time frame of 1 year, and the denominator is total population under surveillance. Please remember its multiplier carefully, that is 1000. It is the most sophisticated measure of malaria situation. Malaria control is also best depicted by annual parasitic incidence. If API goes above 2, then definitely vector control activities have to be initiated in that particular area. After this sophisticated measure of malaria incidence API, we look at best indicator of operational efficiency of malaria control, that is ABER, annual blood examination rate. How do we calculate it? Annual blood examination. So numerator will be number of blood slides examined for malaria in 1 year. Denominator will be total population, and it is expressed as a percentage, so multiplier is 100. This index of operational efficiency, it is recommended, should be maintained above minimum 10% in the country. SPR, slide positivity rate. How do we calculate? Numerator is number of blood slides that are positive for the given malarial parasite, and denominator expectedly is total number of blood slides that are examined, and multiplier is again 100. When we look at latest values from the National Vector-Borne Disease Control Program, annual parasitic incidence for India currently is 0.13. Annual blood examination rate is 6.74% and slide positivity rate is 0.20. Please remember, for malaria situation in our country, total number of malaria cases reported last year were 1.81 lakh, out of which falciparum was 1.15 lakh cases. That is around 64% of total cases, whereas total mortality was only 63 cases in the country. When I say PR, A and CDR, we have discussed in my app video, these represent which particular disease and health program? That is leprosy, National Leprosy Eradication Program of our country. PR, prevalence rate, it tells you total cases, so numerator is total leprosy cases on record for a given particular area. It could be a district. Denominator is total population of that particular area as on 31st March of that particular year, and the multiplier is 10,000. Please remember, elimination level for leprosy designated is when the prevalence rate is less than 1 case per 10,000 population in a year. This elimination level was achieved by our country India in December 2005. Now the second parameter is ANCDR, that is annual new case detection rate, which indicate actually incidence of leprosy, but this term is only used for leprosy. New cases, annual new case has to be incidence. So numerator is total number of new cases of leprosy which are detected in a defined geographical area or population. So denominator is total population of that area that year, but it is taken as on 31st of March, and here for ANCDR the multiplier is 1 lakh. Looking at the current leprosy situation in our country, we have eliminated leprosy. So as discussed in app video, prevalence rate is maintained below 1 per 10,000 population. Currently it is 0.57 per 10,000 population in our country every year, and ANCDR has been found to be 8.13 per 1 lakh population every year. Looking at the STD, HIV in our country, when we look at prevalence of HIV in our country, prevalence has been reported to be 0.22%. It is slightly higher in males, 0.24%, slightly lesser in females, 0.20%. But when we look at state-wise data, then highest prevalence has been found in the state of Mizoram in India, where it has been found to be 2.32%. When we look at PL-HIV, total people living with HIV and AIDS, that has been found to be over 23 lakh in our country, where majority maximum cases are found in the state of Maharashtra, followed by Andhra and Karnataka. When we look at new infections of HIV in our country, that was reported to be 69,000 in our country last year. Again, Maharashtra leads the table or the charts in terms of new cases or new infections also. What is the commonest opportunistic infection of HIV in our country? That is tuberculosis. So let's now look at barometer of social welfare. Tuberculosis situation in our country. Incidence of all cases of tuberculosis from our country have been reported to be 2.64 million, giving a rate of 193 per 1 lakh population. HIV plus TB together contribute 71,000 cases, that is 5.2 cases per 1 lakh population. And when we look at resistance, MDR and other resistance, 1,24,000 cases, giving us a rate of 9.1 cases per 1 lakh population every year. Deaths in TB have been reported to be 4,36,000 in a year, giving us a rate of 32 per 1 lakh population. When we look at this resistance cases, MDR TB cases, please remember in new infections, it has been reported low up to 2.8% only, but in previously treated cases, this goes slightly higher up to 14% of total cases. When we look at percentage pulmonary cases out of all TB cases in our country, they still lead the pack with around 4/5 or 78% of the total cases. Now the ongoing global pandemic, which has affected India also through multiple waves, that is COVID-19. What is the current existing situation of COVID-19 as of today on the day of this video release? As of today, total confirmed cases of COVID-19 disease in country India has been over 3.25 crores, out of which the positive or the good thing, recovered cases are 3.17 crores. But this disease has also resulted in 4.35 lakh deaths in our country, giving us a case fatality rate of COVID-19 in India slightly lesser than some other developed countries of the world. In India, we have recorded 1.2 3-4% case fatality rate till now. Till date, total population of India who has been vaccinated for COVID-19 disease by Government of India has been above 59 crores. And out of these, 10%, if you see, have been total vaccinated or total doses received when we look at Indian country situation. Moving to non-communicable disease obesity. What is the best indicator to measure obesity? That is body mass index, also known as Quetelet's index. What is the formula for calculation of Quetelet index or BMI? In numerator we use weight, that is measured in kilogram, and denominator we use square of height, that is measured in meter or square meter square. For global population, 18.5 to 25 is taken as normal BMI, 25 to 30 is pre-obese or overweight, 30 and above BMI is obesity, below 18.5 is underweight. Indian population, when we look, below 18.5 is again underweight, but normal is 18.5 to 23, pre-obese or overweight 23 to 25, and obesity is above 25 BMI for Indian population. Besides body mass index, we also use some other indices of obesity like Ponderal index, Broca's index, and corpulence index. When we look at Ponderal index, it's given by the formula height in centimeters divided by cube root of body weight in kilogram. Broca's index says any person's ideal weight is height in centimeters minus 100. Anything more than that will indicate obesity. Corpulence index is given by the formula actual weight of the person divided by desirable weight, and normal value is less than or equal to 1.2 for corpulence index. We also use skin fold thickness as a very accurate measure of obesity. Out of the 4 body sites we use, skin above triceps is most sensitive. But for all these 4 sites, when you measure and you do their sum, then more than 40 mm in boys and 50 mm in girls is taken as obesity. Similarly, when you take only mid triceps, skin above mid triceps, more than 18 mm thickness in boys, above 32 mm thickness in girls is taken as obesity. After obesity, we look at another non-communicable disease, that is blindness. Current existing blindness situation in our country. Latest survey tells us in our country, prevalence of blindness is 0.36%. Blindness definition of Indian program NPCBVI, National Program for Control of Blindness and Visual Impairment, is same as WHO cutoff now, less than 3/60. When we look at visual impairment VI, its prevalence has been recorded to be 2.55% in our population. Most common cause of blindness in our country, just like globally, is cataract, which is of course predominant in age above 50 years. When we look at population below 50 years, then corneal opacity has been found to be the commonest cause of blindness. Similarly, the most common cause of visual impairment in age above 50 years is again cataract. But when we look at age or population below 50 years, 0 to 49 years of age, then maximum contribution is given by refractive error, even more than cataract for visual impairment. So friends, with this we come to the end of all formulae and important values form the subject of PSM. Before I leave, I must tell you something which I honestly, sincerely and very strongly believe in. Now you are in the last phase of your preparation for the upcoming exam. Please remember, the road may be bumpy, but you are not allowed to discontinue. Stay on course, keep on studying, keep on revising. You will definitely achieve success. So friends, from my side, I wish you all the best. Stay safe, stay healthy. All the best.